If I collapsed in this cabin tonight, it might be weeks before anyone found me. That is the reality of living alone, far out in the woods. My name is Mike. I am 59 years old, and for more than a decade I have lived by myself in a small cabin tucked away in the southern forest. People ask me the same question again and again. How long can you keep living like this, Mike? How long before age, health, or simple bad luck finally forces you out? It is a fair question. Because time does not stop for anyone. Every year adds weight to your body, and living far from neighbors or family makes that weight feel even heavier. When I first moved out here, I was not in good condition. I carried too much on my frame. I drank more than I should. I often woke up sore and short of breath, as if my own body was trying to warn me. Carrying a bag of groceries from the truck to the porch could leave me gasping. There were nights I lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if I had made a mistake, if maybe I had chosen a life I could not physically handle. But something changed a couple of years ago. I realized that if I wanted to stay in these woods, if I wanted to hold on to the peace and the freedom this place gave me, then I had to treat my body differently. So I cut out the alcohol. I overhauled the way I ate. Slowly, the extra weight began to melt away. The first time I worked outside all afternoon without needing to sit down every 10 minutes, I felt like I had been handed back a piece of my youth. It was not magic. It was not easy. But discipline, even at my age, gave me another chance. Like stripping off a suit of rusty armor that I had worn for years, suddenly I could move again. Suddenly, the place I called home felt possible instead of impossible. Still, the risk never goes away. Out here, one wrong step can change everything. A slip on wet grass, a stumble on uneven ground, and there is no one nearby to lift you up. No neighbor who will notice if your lights stay off for days. That is the trade you make when you choose solitude. You gain peace, but you give up safety. Some younger folks think 59 is already ancient. I laugh at that. Age is not a number. It is a condition. I know men in their 40s who already act like their lives are over. And I know men in their 70s who still climb mountains. The question is not how old you are. The question is what shape you are in, and how willing you are to keep fighting. Right now, I feel stronger than I did when I first bought this cabin. Back then, I was hobbling around the yard, gripping whatever I could for balance. Every project felt like dragging a log uphill. But stubbornness carried me. It still does. I often think of my body as a tool, and every tool wears down with use. You can sharpen it. You can oil it. But eventually, the blade gets thin, the handle cracks, and you know one day it will break in your hands. That knowledge humbles you. It makes you appreciate the simple act of waking up without pain. The woods remind me of that truth every day. The silence out here is beautiful, but it also whispers back at you, reminding you how small and fragile you really are. When I bend to pick up firewood and my back stiffens, I hear that whisper. When my hands throb from arthritis after fixing a loose board, I hear it again. It is the voice of time, asking, "How much longer, Mike?" And yet, I would not trade this life for any other. I know the dangers. I know the price. But when I walk outside at dawn and hear nothing but the wind pushing through the pines, I remember why I came here. This is the life I wanted. This is the life I fought for. Life out here is beautiful, but it is also relentless. Every week brings some new test, some chore that will not wait. Take the grass, for example. Most people picture a neat little lawn, maybe a flat patch you can mow in 30 minutes. Out here, the yard is rocky and uneven. When I ride the mower across it, the whole machine rattles like it is about to fly apart. My back and shoulders take the pounding. And yet, if I do not cut it, the weeds swallow the place. So I climb on, week after week, even though I know one day I may not be able to. Or think about repairs. Cabins do not stay fixed. The weather tears at everything. Storms push branches down onto the roof. The deck boards rot under your feet. Even hauling in supplies is a challenge. A bag of concrete, a roll of wire, a box of nails, all of it adds up, and all of it has to be carried by hand. Some days I wonder if the house will outlast me, or if I will collapse in the middle of some unfinished project. Then there are my feet. Decades of marching in heavy boots, running on rough ground, carrying too much weight, it all took a toll. Doctors say the damage starts at the feet and works its way up, twisting knees, straining hips, and grinding the spine. I can walk fine for a while, but not for long. Standing still can hurt worse than walking. When I look at the list of conditions the doctors wrote down, it feels like they are describing an old machine, broken in 8 different places. I try not to dwell on it, but I would be lying if I said it never scared me. Because hard work out here is not optional. If a tree falls across the drive, I have to move it. If the pipes freeze, I have to thaw them. And when my body says no, there is nobody else to call. No neighbor across the fence. No son or brother down the road. It is me, and only me. That is the price of independence. And most days, I pay it gladly. But late at night, when the house is quiet and the woods press close, the thought creeps in. What happens if I fall and cannot get back up? What happens if I get hurt badly enough that I cannot reach the phone? The truth is chilling. If something like that happened, I could lie here for days, maybe even weeks. The only sign that something was wrong would be silence. No new videos. No sound of the mower. No lights on in the cabin. I sometimes joke that you, watching me right now, might be the first to notice. That is not really a joke. If the upload stopped, some of you would wonder, where is Mike? Meanwhile, out here, in the middle of these woods, nobody would know. That thought hit me hard the first time it crossed my mind. It was like standing in a dark room and suddenly realizing the door was locked from the outside. The freedom I love so much is the same thing that could leave me invisible. So I started thinking about systems. How could I make sure someone checked on me? Maybe I could text a friend each morning and each evening. A simple message, I'm good. And if that message did not come, they could call the sheriff to come check. It sounds simple, but even that idea makes me uneasy. What if the phone dies? What if the message does not go through? Do I really want a deputy driving all the way out here just because my battery failed? I shake my head, but then I think the alternative is worse. Lying here alone, unseen, for days. That is the climax of this story, and the hardest truth I wrestle with. Living alone in the woods gives you peace, but it also means you might vanish without anyone noticing. The silence that comforts you can just as easily erase you. And yet, here I am, still living it, still choosing it. Because despite the fear, despite the risks, I feel more alive out here than I ever did in town. Every chore, every ache, every pounding ride on the mower reminds me I am still in the fight. And as long as I can keep fighting, I will. After thinking through all the risks, I knew I had to come up with some kind of backup plan. Not because I am ready to leave these woods, but because pretending I will stay strong forever would be foolish. My first plan is simple. I want to finish this place. The cabin, the land, the little systems I have built out here. If I can bring it all to a point where someone else would want to buy it, then I know I have an escape route. It means I could sell, cash out, and move closer to town if my body finally says enough. Part of me resists that idea. I have preached the value of rural living for years. I have told anyone who would listen that there is no better life than waking up with the trees around you. And I believe that. But I also know nothing lasts forever. I may be able to do another 20 years here. Or I may not make it another 2. No one can answer that but time itself. That is why I have started looking at houses on the outskirts of a small city nearby. Not downtown, not in a crowded neighborhood, but somewhere on the edge, where the hospital is 10 minutes away instead of 40. A place where if something went wrong, I could still get help in time. I do not like the idea of trading my freedom for convenience. But sometimes survival demands compromise. And the truth is, even if I bought a second home in town, I would not have to leave this cabin right away. I could keep both for a while. Let my dogs live out their lives here. Rooster is already 11. Lily is 12. They have earned the right to finish their days in the place they know. Thinking about them breaks me more than thinking about myself. I can imagine moving. I cannot imagine tearing them away from the woods they love. So part of my plan is simply to wait, to hold on here until they are gone, and then make the shift. Now, let us talk about money. Because no plan works if you cannot afford it. When I first came out here, houses in town sold for $40,000. Now they want $150,000 for the same kind of place. Prices have shot up. Not just here, but all over the country. That stings, but it also works in my favor. Because the value of my land has gone up too. If I sold today, I would walk away with enough to buy something modest. Maybe not perfect, but good enough. So yes, I have a plan B. I hate that I need it, but ignoring reality would be worse. The woods have taught me that. You can love a dream and still admit its limits. And here is the heart of the lesson I want to share with you. If you are around my age, if you are in your late 50s or 60s and dreaming of a life off the grid, do not let fear stop you. Go after it. Build it. Live it. But do not do it blind. You need systems. You need a safety net. Even if it is just a neighbor who expects a text every morning. Even if it is just a plan B house sitting empty until you need it. Without those things, your dream can turn into a trap. I will be honest with you. I am stubborn. I do not give up easy. I feel better now than I did 10 years ago. And as long as I can keep lifting, keep cutting, keep fixing, I will not surrender this life. Because out here, I feel alive in a way I never did in town. The silence, the work, the dogs at my side, all of it reminds me that I am exactly where I am supposed to be. But I also know the day will come when my body will whisper, "Mike, it is time." And when that day comes, I hope I will have the wisdom to listen. Not as a failure, but as a man who squeezed every last drop out of the life he chose. So if you are listening right now, and you are younger than me, maybe in your 40s, thinking about making a big change, learn from what I have lived. Do not wait until your body forces you to. Take the chance while you still can. Build the life you want, but build it smart. Because freedom without preparation is just another form of captivity. As for me, tomorrow I will wake up, walk outside, and take another step in this fight. I will keep mowing, keep hammering, keep patching up what breaks. Because every day I can do that is a day I win. And maybe one day, when I am sitting in a small house closer to town, I will look back at these woods and smile. Not with regret, but with gratitude. Because I got to live my dream longer than most men ever will. So thank you for walking with me today. Thank you for listening to the thoughts of an old man who refuses to quit. If this video made you think about your own life, share it with a friend. And if you want to follow the rest of my journey, hit subscribe. For now, I am still here, still standing, still living alone in the woods. And until the day comes when I cannot, I plan to keep it that way.